The swamp people followed their own rules at night and caught alligators during the day. But not all of them were good. We've been following the lives of these Cajun alligator hunters in Louisiana's Atchafalaya swamp since 2010. We've seen them face danger and succeed. But behind the fame, some people had bad luck, died suddenly, were arrested, or were involved in crimes that shocked their fans. Who got caught and put in jail? Who died for it? What the price was? Come with us as we find out the truth about the cast of swamp people you thought you knew. There will be sad endings and unbelievable cras. R.J. Moller Jr. and J. Paul Molinaire. R.J. and J. Paul Molinaire were not only popular on Swamp People, they were also famous and had a huge fan base. The father and son team said they had been hunting the biggest and most dangerous alligators for over 60 years. In real life, RJ is a world champion arm wrestler and J. Paul is a Golden Gloves fighter, so you could tell they were tough. They joined Swamp People in Season 2 and quickly became fan favorites. They used their Native American background and hunting experience to their benefit. But things went wrong when they ran into big legal problems in 2013, becoming some of the group members who went to jail. The Molinaires got into a fight with a 24-year-old man outside of Roland's Mini Mart in Berg, Louisiana on August 8, 2013. The fight seems to have started over a bad mood on the road, but things got worse when the Molinaires followed the man to the store and beat him up with a beer bottle. The target got hurt and now has a black eye, a swollen jaw, and a knot on his forehead. After arrest warrants were issued, both RJ and J. Paul turned themselves in, were booked, made bond, and were waiting for court. They were arrested on charges of serious abuse and then taken to court. They told the police they were not guilty. The lawyers for the Molinaires said that their clients were really the ones who were hurt in this case. That's some irony. They said that the accused victim started the fight by throwing a beer bottle at the Molinaires' car before what happened in the store. Their lawyers asked for a full investigation into everyone who was engaged. For all the major charges they faced, RJ and J. Paul kept appearing on Swamp People after the event. They were on the show for several seasons, which showed that the legal problems didn't affect their roles. However, there was no public record of a conviction for this event, and it looks like they were able to settle out of court and avoid jail time. In recent years, they have kept a low presence and haven't been involved with Swamp People very much. Mr. Randy Edwards. You might think that Randy Edwards died while catching alligators, but that's not true. Edwards came from a family with a long history of shooting in the swamps. He was the brother of Willie Edwards and the son of Junior and Teresa Edwards. Both of them had been on Swamp People. Randy was one of the alligator shooters in the Atchafalaya River Basin and has been on the show since its first season in 2010. On the show, he showed off his skills and added to the family's history. I loved the reality show cast member, but he sadly died in a car accident on September 15, 2018, when he was 35 years old, as Edwards drove his 2002 Chevrolet Silverado south of LA 3066 in Iberville Parish, Louisiana. Early in the morning, he was in an accident. The report from the Louisiana State Police says that he failed to negotiate a left-hand turn. His car went off the right side of the road and hit a utility tree because of this. The truck then turned over, throwing Edwards out of the car. At the scene, they said he was dead. The police also said he wasn't wearing a seatbelt when the accident happened. They thought impairment might have been a role and took a toxicology sample for testing, but the results were not made public. When he died too soon, the Edwards family posted the sad news on their official Facebook page and asked for privacy while they grieved. Fans and fellow cast members shared their grief and talked about Randy's contributions to the show and how lively he was. Randy Edwards' wife and 3 young children will miss him. The Swamp People group lost a great leader when he died, Roger Rivers. Roger Rivers became well known during Season 5 of Swamp People, a reality show on the History Channel that follows the lives of alligator hunters in the Louisiana bayous. Rivers, who was from Zwolle, Louisiana, was shown to be a brave shooter who was always trying to catch the biggest and scariest alligators. A scary incident in which a huge 12-foot 7-inch alligator attacked his boat and threw him into the water showed how brave he was. He was able to restrain the alligator even though it was dangerous, which got him on the show. Besides the things he did on TV and in movies, Rivers liked hunting to provide for his family. He often stressed that his activities weren't for fun, but as a way to make a living. "I don't do this for the money. I do it to live off the land," he would say. "I love what I do for a living." But his image took a big hit when he was arrested and charged with several fang and wildlife crimes in May 2017. He was one of the group members of the Swamp People who got jailed because of this. Among his charges were selling alligator snapping turtles 6 times, selling reptiles or amphibians without a collector's license 3 times, taking alligators without a license 3 times, failing to tag an alligator twice, selling fish caught for fun twice, selling alligator meat illegally once, selling deer meat illegally once, and having marijuana 2 times. These claims changed his image from a subsistence hunter to a poacher by showing that he was seriously involved in the illegal trade of wildlife. It got worse for Rivers when he was arrested again in September 2022, this time on charges of domestic contractor fraud. It was said that he took $6,000 from a client for a building job that he never finished. Even with these problems, Rivers' love for hunting and living in the swamp is still clear. He has said, "It's what I love, and I will do it until I die," which means he wants to keep living the way he does. Still, his legal problems have trumped the good things he has done for Swamp People. They serve as a warning about what can happen when you cross legal and moral lines to follow your dreams. It's Joe Trapper and Joe LaFont. Cast members of Swamp People have gotten into a lot of problems, like selling animals illegally or assaulting someone very badly, However, the next group member is Joe LaFont, who many Swamp People fans know as Trapper Joe. People knew him as an expert alligator hunter, and he was a big part of the show's early seasons. Trapper Joe and his grandson, Tommy Chauvin, wowed the crowd with how well they got along and how much they knew about the Louisiana swamps. Fans loved them because they were good friends and great hunters. They embodied the rough spirit and traditions of Cajun swamp life. Though Trapper Joe had a lot of legal problems outside of movies, the most serious of which were accusations of domestic abuse. As of June 2012, Trapper Joe was being held at the Buena Vista Palace Hotel in Florida, close to Walt Disney World. The truth was that he got into a fight with his partner. The arrest affidavit says that Trapper Joe's woman was hit in the chest, shook violently, and tried to be burned with a lit cigarette by witnesses. It looked like both of them were drunk at the time of the event. Even though the accusations were serious, Trapper Joe's girlfriend refused to press charges. This made it unclear how the case would proceed, not only this time, but other times too. After being arrested once before in May 2015 in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, Trapper Joe was arrested again. His girlfriend who lived with him said he broke 2 of her ribs during a fight. His girlfriend said that Trapper Joe hurt her by pushing her to the ground during a fight. She didn't go to the doctor at first because she was embarrassed, but she later found out that she had injuries. Even though she didn't want to be charged with a crime, the case was sent to the district attorney's office to be looked over. Trapper Joe had to leave the Swamp People show after 2016 because he was having trouble with the law. Even though the show went on with other cast members, LaFont's departure stood out because he played such a big part in its early success. His legal problems, especially the domestic violence charges, probably played a role in his choice to leave the reality show. Nicholas Payne was also in trouble with the law while on the show Swamp People. He worked as Bruce Mitchell's apprentice on the History Channel reality show Swamp People, but his time on the show was cut short because he had major legal problems after getting into a fight with police in 2011. On September 23, 2011, there was a disturbance at Payne's home in Pearl River, Louisiana. Deputies from the St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office were called. Reports say Payne was locked out of his house and making a lot of noise. When the police arrived, things got worse when Payne hit a female cop in the chest. This happened as she tried to give him a ticket for breaking the peace. After the attack, Payne ran into some nearby trees. A 9 unit was sent out, and the dog that was chasing Payne found him and bit him. He needed medical care at a nearby hospital. Further searches showed that Payne had a warrant out for his arrest in Florida because he had not shown up to court on charges of having drug paraphernalia. Payne was then charged with disturbing the peace, battery on a police officer, fighting arrest, and being a wanted person from another state. His bail was $10,000, but he didn't pay it, so he spent a long time in jail. The incident ended Payne's involvement with Swamp People for good. A representative from the History Channel said that Payne had not been on the show since the end of filming for the previous season and had no further comments to make on the issue. Troy Landry in the Swamp People series. Troy Landry was known as the King of the Swamp and showed how alligator hunting is done in Louisiana. He became a fan favorite because he knew a lot about the bayou and had a link to it, but by September 2024, he was having trouble with the law. In St. Mary Parish's Lake Palourde on September 19, 2024, the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, LDWF, did a sneaky sting operation. After getting a tip from someone else about illegal alligator hunting lines marked with white flags, agents set up surveillance in that area in secret. During their stakeout, they saw Troy walking toward the lines with a woman who was 28 years old and an unknown cameraman. The woman got back a line with a live alligator that was about 7 to 8 feet long. Troy speared and killed the animal before putting it onto their boat. When Troy talked to the group, he said that they were just checking out the area and hadn't taken any alligators from it. When the agent showed him proof from the observation, he admitted that he had killed the alligator without the right tags for that spot. He said that earlier that day he had cut a dead alligator free from his line. The alligator was later found floating in the lake with the same kind of line that Landry had used. So Troy got 2 tickets, one for not TGing an alligator when he caught it, and another for the dead soldier that wasn't tagged. There is a possible $950 fine and up to 120 days in jail for each offense. The police took his boat engine and the alligator that wasn't properly tagged. Troy went to court for a hearing on civil compensation. When asked about the incident, Landry refused to say more, saying, "I also got a speeding ticket last month, but I have nothing to say about it." Lindsay Landry, his daughter-in-law, played down the situation by calling it just a ticket and saying she didn't understand how people were reacting. Go after Landry. Chase Landry was a famous cast member on the TV show Swamp People. In 2016, he got into a lot of legal trouble when he fired a gun at a passing shrimp boat. A lot of people talked about this event on social media, and it also made people wonder about the safety rules for alligator hunts. Chase ran into something he thought was dangerous on September 2, 2016, while he was crossing Bayou Chin in Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana.